It's in the 1800s, and you can take 3 items with you. And what would you do for money? So what are your 3 items, and then what do you do for money? I assume all of us will choose to rob.
My first thought was woodworking. I used to do a little of that. I feel like I could get back at it.
No,
the 1800s?
A trade that other people are already doing there.
Other people are already robbing Taylor.
Yeah, but not with a Gatling gun.
Okay. I don't know why you had to go to the Gatling. There are better guns now.
Well, whatever the best gun is what I'm bringing them.
You want the best gun from now, not the best gun from then. Come on.
Right. Well, we've both answered poorly. So I'm just trying to think. What could you bring? If you bring back something too fancy, you're going to get burnt at the stake or killed, and they're just going to steal it from you. So it can't be over the top too fancy. So what do you fucking need? I would imagine you need some.
It can't wear out too much, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know. I'll bring a good lighter. Well, fuck. That'll last you a week, and then what's your plan? Like, why is that's a stupid thing to bring? And probably lighters exist in the 1800s.
They do.
Yeah, they got fire.
Right? Yeah. This is not dinosaur time.
Yeah, down pat.
And
also,
does it just say the 1800s, like broadly?
Let's say, the year 1800. We'll say the U.S. is a fresh nation.
Oh, you know what would be smart to bring? Like Encyclopedia Britannica or something. Like that would have a lot of useful information in it.
That would be. And you could not, I like this. That's a good one.
I really like. Fuck, you could like invent gasoline or something with the knowledge that's in there. I don't know if that exists in the 1800s. But like, there's a whole lot of shit that you'd have figured out that you could. Fuck, how do you more efficiently mine for coal? Like, oh shit, check this out.
You figure out everything. You could be the greatest. You could be a real Edison and steal the valor of hundreds of inventors who are not even born yet. You're inventing the light bulb. You're inventing the correct kind of fuel, antibiotics, all sorts of shit. I'm not smart enough for that, even with a book. I guess they just made mold, right? So that's my understanding of it.
Yeah. Some of them you could make, right? Like even if you can't cure malaria, you can invent penicillin, or maybe
telling people that germs are a thing. That's pretty impressive.
Expose that fraud, Helen Keller. When was she?
Oh, about 70 years from now. Do not believe her lies.
I think I would just pick some inventions from the the 1800s that clearly the materials were there and the engineering was there, but just the idea hadn't come up yet. And I'd bring some models of them back. Like I'm pretty sure the locomotive, like the steam engine, was invented in the 1800s, like early 1800s. Like just bring like a model steam engine back, and you'll be the richest man on the planet right away.
Yeah.
Because
or like a cotton gin schematic.
I don't know why my head went straight to the tattoo gun.
How do you not remember when the cotton gin was invented from history class? You know so many useless things.
Why, was it not 1800?
No, it was like 1790. I mean, I don't know exactly.
There's no way to know. I'm not doing it.
I'm looking it up. You
like Whitney. You like Whitney.
Don't think I can't spot your bait.
1801.
Bullshit.
It's 1793.
I knew it.
I failed it. Oh fuck! I bought it. Taylor, you got me.
Damn it! Fuck! All right, so that would have been so funny. I'm like, hey, everybody,
check this out, everyone.
If he just lied to get to.
I guess someone's gonna knock your socks off, and they're like, "Hey, this is like a shitty version of what that other guy, Eli Whitney, made." It's like, fuck. Well, what else could it be? The better cotton gin.
The diesel tractor?
Diesel tractor, train stuff.
The diesel tractor? We're going with like...
We're replacing horses here. We're doing good shit. Well, they had steam engines. What's next?
They didn't yet. That's why I'm saying we're inventing
They didn't have steam engines.
1804.
When did we get 1804? Not in the question.
Taylor, I asked like what year, and Taylor said 1800 exactly.
I wasn't here for that.
You were sitting right there.
I would remember.
Literally.
Like nope.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the internal combustion engine was probably invented in like 1885, 1895, in that period.
Inventions of the.
I love that Taylor's our new fact checker. This is the greatest transition in Painkiller already. Is
when was the internal combustion engine invented? I'm saying 1885 to 1895.
There's a lot of inventions here. Internal combustion engine. I have to search that up too. When was...
What is an internal combustion engine? Because that to me means gas, but I think it means diesel is a steam engine and an ice.
1872.
No, steam is not.
It's,
1872.
I guess it's not combustion, is it? Yeah, it's just an expansion type thing. But diesel probably is.
There's a lot of stuff to steal here.
Combusts.
You can
Yeah,
get the
but
patented
what do you need? So it combusts because
Pressure.
I'm sure you know this. It pressurizes the vaporized diesel fuel until it spontaneously combusts from the pressure. But back then, like what would have created there's no electric starter or anything to like get it going. So I don't know how that would work. You need like
I want to say the first, like these old tractors. I watch videos of people starting very old tractors, and they wind a flywheel up and like put energy into it. So they're not turning the engine; they're turning like a spring, a flywheel. You know, like it's not a flywheel; is just a weighted wheel that eventually like goes right.
Mm-hmm.
This is like they're pre-winding a spring to create tension, and then they kick it off, and it initiates the engine.
It takes off, and there's a lot of gears there, a lot of gear ratio. That's interesting,
Kyle. So you could bring a schematic for the Colt breech loading revolver and invent that in the year 1800 instead of 1836 when that bastard Samuel Colt invented it. So
yeah, I'm sure that won't ruin the world.
Revolver. How
yeah,
cool.
let's give people fucking a much more efficient way to kill 35 years earlier.
You clearly have somewhere in mind. Where would you go? Where's your first stop?
You know what I would do? The first time Maddox asked me this, like the first episode of our podcast, and I said I would go back in time and pretend to write all the Beatles songs. But then,
movie.
I know
suck.
they made that movie like 3 or 4 years after I said that. So now I would go back in time and write that movie. Instead
I wouldn't bother. It didn't do very well.
Was it even a successful movie?
Yeah. You're going to be the writer of a middling indie film.
Yes,
you can do that now. Like, you want some help?
I need that idea. What would you guys do?
You just go back to like early 2000s and you start investing in Bitcoin and you don't stop. You know, you put every bit of your disposable income in Bitcoin. And you're 100 millionaire in 20 years, you know, like that's all you got to do.
That would be good, but it's like, that's not that creative. You're not going that far back. I'd want to go back.
I'm not writing a movie here. I'm making money.
No, but you can bounce around in this scenario. So I'd go back to ancient Rome, pal around a little bit. I feel like you'd go back to any ancient time and you'd be like, oh, like all those statues are nice, but then it'd be like everybody probably smells terrible.
You don't speak the language.
Yeah, I could,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
No, you won't.
I took Latin for a few years in high school.
I don't think they spoke Latin, did they? It wasn't the Greeks that spoke Latin?
Well, I mean,
didn't the Romans speak Italian?
I think they mostly spoke Latin because Latin became Italian and French and Spanish.
Fair enough.
So at the time they spoke Latin, but yeah, you're right.
Just as a test,
speak Latin. That's
say where is the bathroom in Latin?
That'd be a rude thing to ask. See, I know their culture.
Yeah, I don't think you can say anything.
You just look at me and go, "Hey,
can I have some? Do you have any water?
Fucking bathroom?
Do you have any water? Say it in Latin."
I can't.
Yeah, I know.
Bathroomist, pissus.
How do you say, please don't burn me as a witch in Latin? Because that, my friend,
I
is
am not
very handy.
Victim.
Well, as soon as they lay eyes on those spectacles that you are going to need to walk in the past,
I'll have contacts. I'll have contacts. And I'll bring a gun. And they don't know the concept of ammo.
They don't know the concept of gun. They're just going to
dream scenario. I transfer back to Rome. They throw me in the ring, in the fucking gladiator arena. I look fly in my modern clothes. All I have is my gun. They put a bunch of tough guys. Blam, blam, blam. They don't know that I'm not a wizard. I demand respect. Audience with the king, whatever it is at the time, the Senate. And I'm like elevated. And I tell them like, boom, Visigoths to the north. You're going to want to look out for that. It's going to get ugly. Here's a couple of no good emperors you need to get rid of right away when they pop in.
Stop using those lead pipes.
Stop it with the lead pipes. I know it tastes great. And you got to stop eating tomatoes off the lead plates. You're going crazy.
Pewter, yeah.
Yeah, pewter. And I think
Kills
that's
me
maybe kind of extra.
Or he gets big. Get him.
Jesus, before he gets-
That's
go
me.
in. Tell Jesus I'm interested in his teachings. Knife him. I'm Jesus now. Boom. Step into. Oh no, wait! I don't want to be Jesus.
Well and well.
I get like 3 days into Jesus. I'm like, oh no.
You're our like religious historian.
All right, pop in. Don't pretend to be Jesus. Just see if he was as smart as people said. I bet his speeches weren't as impressive.
No.
But I wouldn't know what he
weren't
was
either.
saying because I don't speak Hebrew or Latin. So you're
No.
right. There would need to be some sort of Star Trek
Universal communicator.
communicator, something like that. Let's include that in this fantasy. That's there.
What if
this
you had
is
to
a-
learn Hebrew? Would you just put it off? Like, all right, I got to learn Hebrew before I go back in time. Fuck.
I mean,
I get
if I wouldn't take the time to learn it if like I had to actually sit down and learn it. That's why I invented the fancy.
You can't even go back. If you go back 200 years, you're going to have a mildly difficult time communicating.
No, we looked at this. We would be good back until like once it gets to like the early 1600s, it's
Yep.
like it starts to get fucking weird and like the 1500s.
When you get to Old English, that
Yeah.
shit barely makes sense anymore.
like Washington,
So you
and then
guys
we
are
could have
right,
fought.
but if you're trying to fit in, how far back can you go? Like I could fit in the 50s.
Sure.
How about the 1850s? I think they'd
Well, we
instantly
could.
see me as
You'd just be dirtier. Like you'd just be smellier and dirtier, and it would kind
No,
of.
I think in the same way that like if you're from New York City and you show up in Alabama, you don't fit in.
Oh,
that
you would
that
probably
happens
get
pretty
wrong.
quickly in time too.
You'd like accidentally say something anti-religious and be killed. Day one.
Oh, that's one of the better parts of 11/22/63 actually is the language. Like he'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and they'll be like, "You got a funny way of talking. What are you talking?" Like he'll be like, "You slang occasionally accidentally," and they'll be like, "Huh, you got an interesting way of talking." Like he's always like having to like
He sings
shit.
songs from the future in the shower and shit.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
he's singing like Rolling Stone. He's singing the Rolling Stones. And she's just like, "What is that you're singing?" He's like, "Sympathy for the Devil." Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. And she's just out. She's in there like, is he writing like an incredible song in the fucking shower right now?
I love how like the assumption there, because you're watching a show about time travel, is that someone hears a song that they don't hear and they go, he must be inventing this out of there. This guy must be making up songs. I live in the 50s. People concurrently making up songs. I have no concept of this. Oh my God. Like, and the fact that he would have to explain anything other than, oh, it's a song, you probably don't know it. That
But
he
he's
would
always doing
back
it.
himself into a wall going, it's certainly not the Rolling Stones. T-3 years. Keep a lookout on the calendar.
But he's like always doing it. Like the evidence is piling up. Like he's always saying like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Or
And you remember all the words? You remember? That's the first time I ever knew what the words you just sang were.
well, it's a good song.
Like if he started singing like we went to the moon in 1969, like that might be a little more prophetic, but not this.
Yeah.
Even that would be silly. But that was a song before they even went to the moon. It's probably.
But yeah, I would be. Time travel is really scary because like if you go back too far, and something happens to you, then you're just dead. And if you go back too far and you get discovered, then they just kill you. They burn you as a witch or something like that.
What if you bring like treats and goodies and you like pretend to be like someone powerful who can get more? Not even pretending, you can, and you kind of buy
To
them.
what? Yeah, but to what end? Like, what do they
And I
have that
could
you even
be like-
want?
I could be like a fucking senator in an ancient world or a king.
I would rather be 100 millionaire today than a senator in ancient Rome.
Oh, I don't
What
live
about
there.
tomorrow?
I bounce around.
Maybe Kyle, you want to invest in the S&P 500, go forward 100 years, and you'll be plenty rich, even though you don't know the future. Or bounce
Yeah, you
back
could
and forth.
Well, see, you got to get the money back there, right? So, like what? And you would need to set up like the legal apparatus with lawyers to like
Right.
pass down that wealth to all right, this firm that you'd have to research that the law firm is even going to exist in the future. Like Wilkes and Wilkes is the oldest law firm in the United States. All right,
It's
they're
tricky,
gonna
but
like
the payoff is future. Like I don't know that current now is the best it gets. It seems to be getting better all the time.
oh, you want to go to the future with more stuff.
Yeah, I want to set up something now wherein I don't know 2150.
Yeah, but the fear would be like, all right,
Like
so
cataclysmic nuclear war or something before then.
yeah, like what if you turn the dial to like 2050,
right?
and when the machine stops vibrating or whatever, and like pop into the world, you immediately start taking radiation, or there's a building now like there, and you like fuse inside of a brick wall or something like that.
I don't want that.
That does sound bad. I'm hoping my time machine can deal with that.
Yeah, I think I just go back in time and I'm just like, Bitcoin. That's all you got to do. Like,
Let's
you
not
don't
go that far back either. You have to go back like 4 years.
Yeah, you don't have to go back far at all. Like just, and if you can go back to like 2010, you're gold.
Dude, I'm going to go back to the early 1900s and absolutely dominate in the NHL, Major League Baseball. Just be incredible.
Do you know how much you got paid to play baseball in 1910? They paid those guys in chili dogs, Taylor.
I'm doing it for the legacy and the fun. I'm going back and, they didn't invent fucking slap shots until the 60s. I can wind that up in 1921. It'll be fun.
There's a
That's well
guy,
stated.
his YouTube channel is C90 Adventures, and he's known for riding a C90, which is this tiny old Honda, really simple thing, and taking trips on it that you wouldn't expect him to take. Guys, I'm making this up a little bit, but he's like circumnavigated America. He goes from like Alaska to fucking Chile or something. Somehow he went from Scotland to Australia on a motorcycle that only goes 45 miles an hour. I'm like, this guy's so badass. Did you want to say something, Kyle?
I just feel like Australia is a continent and there's a lot of water.
Dude, he will take his motorcycle apart, put it in luggage, get on a 18-foot long fishing boat, and say, all right, I know there's rules against motorcycles on these fishing boats, but this is luggage. These are motorcycle parts, not a motorcycle. And you're like, well, I guess he's got us there.
It's still like 300 pounds, though. Like, it's not.
Here's what would have sold it for me. He takes his Ducati apart and rigs the engine up as an outboard.
Oh,
Yes, that would be more impressive. Nobody's impressed by a motorcycle trip from New York to London.
Or even
like you just get on a plane.
imagine the bike. Imagine the bike fully assembled, but there's like a pulley system. He's on the bike, like revving it up and like boating out. Oh, that would be great.
Have you ever seen the guy who rode his bike on Pipeline? So maybe you have seen the people who can literally ride a dirt bike on water.
Yeah,
I've never done anything
Skid
remotely
across
like it, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
skid across it.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
Keep in mind, they don't skid across it a little bit like as a party trick. Like these people can go into the ocean and out there. And this guy rides his motorcycle out into the ocean, and he rides a wave back on a fucking motorcycle. It is out. But this isn't C90 Adventures. My point was about the YouTube algorithm. He this guy hadn't uploaded a video in a year, but he's one of my favorite guys. He does voiceovers and he has a real gift for it. And he finally uploads a video, and YouTube is like, oh, don't forget Woody likes this. Here you go. And I watched and enjoyed his video.
So if you showed a person from the 1800s somebody getting on a motorcycle, riding out into the ocean and coming back again, they would worship him as a new god. Like,
right?
Dude, it would just be a new religion.
It'd be so easy to pretend to be God to any like group of people
You know,
who have never
like,
come across technology or a lighter.
it's so, all right, pause there. I have often thought, like, man, if I went back in time, I would be a genius. And then it's like, well, actually, Woody, do you know how to split atoms? No, I just know about that other people know it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you start a fire without tools? Well,
No.
Did I remember to bring my glasses? I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude, I've thought about that too. Like, all I would be, because I wouldn't know enough to explain anything, I would just be the guy like, and another thing that's cool. and also this will happen. And they're like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Burn him
Right.
at the stake.
I'm gonna go to ancient Greece and like, you guys, I've got 20 years computer programming experience.
Fuck, I didn't learn Greek.
Yeah. It's like the Joe Rogan bit that's like, what happens if all the smart people leave and we don't know how to make anything? So then it's like you just have all this technology that you like, can you make a toaster? Because I can't, you know.
Yeah, I got a good vibe for what'll be popular on Facebook. Is that useful anymore?
Like, well, I can. I know what good SEO is. So
yeah, right.
you just point me to the nearest search
Oh
engine.
yeah, Aristotle's gonna be blown away by your SEO inputs. He's gonna be like, "You're a monster," as he's like fucking a 9-year-old. It's like, God damn, you're really smart that we forgot about this part of it. Like,
I often think of like what would happen if if what the technology that we have was applicable, even 100 years ago. Like if we had Twitter in the times of like in 1930, like would World War II have happened?
I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, it'd be
People would have
interesting.
been edgier online about it.
I know, but like we're always. I feel like Twitter or social media gets it to a point where it's like we're almost at that tipping point, but we never actually go there because everybody's just fine being here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I didn't
Could be.
understand that at all. We tip and then, but we're just here.
Yeah. So let's say like you're always on the edge of fighting, like a fist fight. Like you like getting out and causing a ruckus with somebody else, but we never actually get over that edge of like, all right, hold me back, that sort of thing. We're all already there, but back then we're just like, fuck it, we're going to war. Like we're just gonna kill everybody.
Yeah. Well, World War II in particular, that it might have gone the same way. Like if they bombed Pearl Harbor and there was Twitter, I think everybody else would have been like, duh, nuke them. Maybe not nuke them specifically.
But before we get,
what do you know?
But just, can I go a little longer? When 9/11 happened, dude, everyone I knew used the same phrase. They're like, let's turn Afghanistan to glass. Let's salt them. They just wanted to drop so much hot shit on it that the sand turned to glass.
Yes.
Just like in of all places, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like nothing to do with any of it.
Well, they did not want to turn over Osama bin Laden. Apparently they may have had him and were like, you have to turn him over. And they gave us the middle finger and we went to war.
Right.
No, he was chilling in Pakistan.
Eventually he was, but he definitely trained in Afghanistan. Like he had presence there.
Trained.
Yeah, but we also
in Afghanistan.
Yeah, we also didn't we pay for that training or something? I'm not 100%.
We did. We gave him the best the CIA of the 80s had to offer.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, he was anti-Russia for a while, and he was a good guy.
That's when it was convenient.
Mm-hmm.
That's, all those bastards.
I think he helped out Rambo, if I understand my history.
He did, yeah. There was a documentary. But I'm thinking like
you're fitting it great, Freddie.
Even if you go back, like let's say not even Pearl Harbor, because Pearl Harbor was pretty far into the war, so like, the war has already been fought for a few years. Like people didn't know about like what was going on with the concentration camps. You think if that would have gotten out, that would have turned the tide? If we had social media.
They would have been dismissed as conspiracy theorists, maybe. Just a thought, tossing it out there.
Ooh, maybe, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like
people used to be more decent. Like we're awful. I think like as far as like, I don't know, just everyday manners and shit, we used to be better. I think we really are just awful now.
Manners were definitely better in the past. You can't go too far back in the past. There's like a curve there where we hit like peak manners.
But if you hit like 1920s New York, they all seem to dress really well. All the old timey footage, those women must have been melting in their layers and layers of dresses. Dudes had like what to me looks like a suit and some sort of hat on.
Yeah,
all over the
they
place.
had like a Wednesday hat.
I want one of those watches with the chain, one of those pocket watches. That's a good look.
So I live in Florida, and anytime I go to like St. Augustine, you see all these historical accounts of people that settled the area, and you see these people in like full like ball gowns, and it's Florida in the summer, and there's no AC. AC hasn't been invented yet, so I'm like, did everybody just die? Like, did everybody just always have heat stroke? Because
they smelled
I
terrible.
would have.
I think air conditioning is one of those things that like got invented, and everybody was just like, what's the point for like a long time? And then some guy was like, wait, y'all have had air conditioning this whole time, and nobody, yeah, you put a fan on it.
Put a fan on it.
I'm pretty sure that's what I remember.
Yeah, that's as far back
They
as
had
you
air
want to go in
conditioning
time.
with no fan for a while.
You just have to like walk up to it and inhale, like cool your lungs.
It would be neater if they sold it as like a somehow breath freshener seems like the right term, even though it means something new now.
Like that was like some of the technologies that we take for granted is like the ice machine. Like at least even in prison we had a nice fucking ice machine. But like I see in those old timey movies where you got those kids with the big ass blocks of ice that they're carrying up flights of stairs, and they go around in like a mule wagon with like ice, and then they show like where the ice came from, because in my head I'm like, well, somewhere around here they're making a lot of ice, huh? No, of course not. They couldn't make ice because it's old timey times. That's the whole point. So they're up north with frozen lakes with these big like lumberjack saws sawing huge cubes of ice and like shipping them down south.
I literally thought you were going to say a tugboat with a big rope bringing icebergs to New York. I was like, that was my idea.
First of all, Woody, that's brilliant.
That is better.
You can get on the ground floor.
Can you imagine the environmentalist if Elon Musk was like, I want my own iceberg, so I'm bringing it to Miami. And it's just like a quadrillion gallons of water being added.
Dude, like an environmentalist in like 1951 would be like, don't drop your plastic on the ground, throw it in the river, get it out to sea.
That's
Get
right.
it out of here.
That's where it lives.
Have you guys heard about that big iceberg that's supposedly about to drop and melt or something?
No,
I do not know.
Is it one of those deals where like it's a chunk that's just like the size of Rhode Island or something?
Dude, it's supposed to be catastrophic.
Awesome. I've been waiting for this shit since I was 5. I remember kids.
Yeah.
All right. I was born in 1986. So in 1991, I remember they showed us a video about global warming, and they used pennies as some sort of a metaphor to explain it. And like, I don't remember how it worked because I was 5, but there were stacks of pennies and the water kept getting higher, and then the kids drowned at the end of the
only
video.
way to stop it is for you to give all of us your pennies.
They might have wanted our fucking pennies. I was busy stealing that weird kid's hearing aid, though. I was a dangerous
For
child.
stealing a hearing aid?
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
What's the
Did you
street
think-
value of a hearing aid?
I don't know.
It went for more than the prosthetic limbs he took.
Did you take it because you thought it would give you like super hearing?
I didn't know what it was. I just thought it looked cool because it was like this is a 1991 hearing aid, so it was big and electronic.
Yeah.
It looked like you would like plug it into my Game Boy and it was gonna like give me super.
It was
They always
like
do
your
it.
Game Shark. Yeah.
Because like back in those shitty movies in the 80s, they would like take like 2 pieces of common technology and just jam them together and they would work. Like the Ghostbusters 2, when they just take a Nintendo joystick and power the Statue of Liberty, right? So as a kid, I'm like, this will plug into something at home, and I was using it as a ray gun at lunch. I was like pointing it and going pew pew pew. I'm 5, and I got
some poor deaf kid. He can't even hear you pewing.
yeah.
It's probably really expensive for his parents too.
They got it back.
Eventually,
they caught me
after
with
he
it.
got smacked at home for not listening.
After got bored with it.
And the poor kid never did learn long division. If you ever put yourself in olden times and you're like, dude, I'd be a genius because actually I just know how to use a phone. I don't know how to make one. I know how to use a battery. I don't know how to make one. I can drive, but I can't
Y'all
make
got a
car.
350 small block needs rebuilding? No.
You'd just be like a shitty Confucius, where you'd be like, one day something like this is gonna happen, and they're like, really? And like, how? Tell us, future one. And you're like, oh, I can tell you more about like hockey stats. That's
I saw
a sport
a video
that's going to be
today.
around. Like,
I saw a video today. It was called "How a Computer Works." It was 42 minutes long.
Okay.
Okay,
it's boring.
You think I'm going to be able to explain it to Neanderthal men or some shit and it make anything happen at all? No. Oh, they see the logic and the fucking binary and come on, give me that sharp stick. I'll show you how to.
Dude, if you brought a phone,
that's all I got.
If you brought a phone back with you, with a magic English to Latin translator or whatever, ancient Greek translator, and you showed them the video, they would be pulling your teeth and nails out before you finished as like a witch. There's no way you could smooth that over.
I think the Greeks would have been more
okay.
chill.
The Greeks, maybe they would think it was cool. Let's go Mesopotamia, way further back, Fertile Crescent. Hammurabi's still on the town.
Hammurabi seemed like a fair man. You know, I read a little bit of that cuneiform code, and it seemed like an eye for an eye makes a lot of sense. I think the Bible ripped off a lot of that. But I think wherever you go, you're going to have a hard time communicating, and we're just not going to look right. Like we're going to be too clean. Like we're gonna be so clean that they'll look at us and be like, "What? Who doused you with water, boy?" That's the first question, and then like, why is your beard like that, or your hair like that, or why are you walking like that? Why are you shod like that? Like they're all wearing medieval fucking shoes or whatever. You got Nikes on. You're gonna cause a lot of problems right away. I would imagine.
They'll probably bully you.
They'll think you're. I feel like in ancient times they were always at war.
Would he not be a massive, strong?
I think
no, they just bring out Mo Agrius and beat his ass.
Well, I'm not saying they'd been intimidated by like a guy that's 5 inches taller. Like 3 of them would just stab me with forky sticks, right? And I'd be gutted in the street. But like, I think that they would notice right away that we would stand out for all the reasons I named, and then they'd be like, oh, depending on the time period, right? I bet he's a Mongolian spy. I bet he's a French spy. I bet he's a Germanic spy. I bet he's a barbarian spy. Whoever their enemy at the time was, the bad guy that they the warlords like you. That's why I need the money to keep the whoever the bad guy is that's allowing him to extort his people and rule his people. You'd be one of them, and you'd be dead in the street. You start fucking talking into a phone, and it's talking back to them. Ooh, that's going to end poorly. One way or another.
Service.
They're going to hate that. They'll worship the phone and burn you. It's the one giving all the orders.
Yeah, that's true. They won't understand the concept of battery life.
Who now
will
be the carrier of the god? And you're like,
oh yeah. You've stolen their soul in that selfie you just took.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I do have this part of me that wants to go find those uncontacted tribes and fuck with them, though. I really do, and I like it in movies when it happens.
There's not many left.
So many ways. So many ways. You know, I'd show up with like a magic show, like right away. Like go buy. Let's go spend $200 on bullshit magic that anybody can do. Those little poof or get like a fake thumb, and then like all that shit, right? Blow their goddamn minds, and don't even break out the technology right away.
Just pull handkerchiefs out of your mouth until you're their god.
Yeah, the little red ball thing, and do
I'd
coin
like to put
tricks.
a real scare into them right away and let them know that not only can I kill, but I can't be killed. So I'm thinking I show them some movies of like maybe I show them some videos of me blowing up some cars first, right? Because that's gonna fuck. Whoa, they're gonna be scared.
They don't even know what a car is.
They'll think it's a tank hippo or something. And then if they think I'm all powerful like that, I think that'll go a long ways into, harnessing them for the sweatshop.
I think you have to go into it leading with a lot of gifts because you need
carrot over stick.
Huge amount of carrot, enormous amount of carrot, because if you've seen some videos of these uncontacted tribes, sometimes a guy just shows up with gifts. And they're just shooting arrows with like dart frog poison at him immediately. And so you need to put in their head, like when this guy shows up, good things happen. Like have an airdrop with a big crate of fucking Pringles or whatever you find out that they like. At the same time, you show up every time. They start to draw a little connection. When this guy shows up, the crate full of good things comes. And you have to give him more and more good shit, because otherwise they're going to think this guy's coming to try and be the new chief. And we're not going to let him be the new chief.
All that makes sense, and I can understand why you would think that would work.
Yeah.
But I actually think it might have been that guy I showed you with the python earlier that bit him. The guy was telling a story about uncontacted tribes in South America and how this one guy had a knack for, like, they wouldn't run away from him. They'd look at him, and they'd sort of, like, if he lifted his foot, they'd lift their foot, sort of thing. And he kept bringing them food. He'd make a big pile of bananas, literally. And then he'd leave the pile of bananas. The bananas would be gone when he came back. They saw him put them down. He looks at them. He's like, hey, bananas. And he leaves. And they have this going on for a long time, years. They found him one day full of arrows. Arrows. They shoot these 7-foot-long arrows, these crazy long arrows.
Yeah, ran out of bananas.
Like a porcupine.
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy bringing bananas for years eventually got. And you think you're going to show up with an iPhone and firecrackers and startle them into submission?
I can have guns in South America, Taylor. I show up with an AR, right? I waste anyone with a weapon. First day.
I bet they're pretty fucking good with those bows.
But I feel like you could put on something that would protect you from bows.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like a sweater.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, a sweater.
I think my motorcycle outfit might protect me from a bow and arrow. If not, it's close.
Yeah, they're not compound bows. They're not shooting
for their
that
own
hard.
good.
Yeah, but I feel like that would probably end like that last scene in 300 where it's just like arrows just blotting out the sky coming down. Like, that would.
Yeah, that is what would happen, honestly. That especially is it Sentinel Island where
that's what it is. Yes.
Those are the islanders that'll fucking just smoke you. And if you try to land, they're like shooting the arrows like at you actively. Like, yeah, come a little closer so we can hit you.
Before we started, though, you were about to launch into a brand new conspiracy you've been enjoying, and we told you to hold back.
Oh,
we wanted to hear it.
Okay, so this one is kind of trippy.
Okay.
There was a book written in 1888 called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. And it's about a kid named Baron who can time travel. And it's a series of books, apparently. And in, like, I think it's like the third episode or the third book of the series, he travels to the future where his mentor named Don becomes the last president of the United States.
All right, come on now. There's no way this is real. There's no way.
I just found out about this like 2 days ago.
Dude, Wolf is on it. It was written by American author and lawyer Ingersoll Lockwood. They remained obscure until 2017 when they received media attention for perceived similarities between their protagonist and U.S. President Donald Trump. Wild.
Everyone goes on and on about how Lincoln's secretary's name was Kennedy and Kennedy's secretary's name was Lincoln.
Dude, this is bigger than that.
This is ridiculous.
It's kind of crazy, bro. I'm telling you.
Is there any mention to him being a giant in the story? Is Baron very tall, perhaps? Dude, that would steal it for me.
If the story, if it genuinely said Baron was, and he grew to 6'9", he did, I'd be like, oh my god.
Or the color orange was mentioned somewhere or something.
Yeah. Yes.
But no, like I'm seriously thinking about like buying these books and reading it just to see what's going on. But like I heard about this one and looked up the book and I'm like, okay, that's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
That is insane. Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey.
I want to read it now. Like maybe we can glean some tidbits from the future. Who cares about the narrative, Taylor? This might be a playbook for days to come.
Yeah, but the scary part is it was apparently he becomes the last president in the 1900s or something. But when they emphasized the last president, that was like kind of scary. That kind of freaky.
The last we'll ever need.
Mm-hmm. Who knows if he gets elected again, and then it all goes to shit,
or he just won't let anybody else run.
This guy's a real prophet if he gets it right.
Yeah,
he's already halfway there.
Well, fingers crossed.
Today I learned about the Oklahoma Panhandle. There are things about it I didn't. So here's what I already knew. I already knew it was part of Texas, and then so that Texas could remain a slave state, they gave away everything above that like latitude. And it became part of Oklahoma. Like that's what I thought the history was. What I didn't realize is that Kansas, which is above the Panhandle, and Texas, which is below it, were both defined by their latitude. So they couldn't just like grab it. So nobody did, and it had no laws and no like anything. There was a place called Beer City where cowboys would come and murder each other, and like gangsters roam the thing.
Like Fallout.
It was just total like fucking. What's the movie where people kill each other?
Was it even a territory?
It was nothing. It wasn't a territory. It wasn't a state. It didn't have any government. It was the Wild West but like Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas.
What year? Do you know?
Like late 1800s. And I think there was prohibition because it said there was. So you could like go there and get alcohol, which I thought prohibition was in the 20s. So I'm a little fucked up on that.
Yeah, they tried it a couple times statewide, not nationally.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe statewide there's prohibition.
Yeah.
That would make it make
more sense. I wouldn't think Texas would be the ones.
I hear you. But yeah, I did realize the Oklahoma Panhandle, before it was part of Oklahoma, had no law at all. And people would just murder and gangs would roam and steal and whatever.
When I was younger, like part of me would have been like, man, if I was back then, I would have been ripping and roaring out there. I would have been doing this and that. And now it's like, no, I would have been bullied. Someone who was better with a gun would have stolen my horse and like my boots, and I'd be walking barefoot in the sand.
So I'm not worried about someone who's better with a gun. I'm worried about someone who's better socially. right? I'm gonna go out there armed with what? My biceps, and this other guy has 9 friends. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
I got one friend. Like
some dude with 10 charisma comes out.
Exactly.
Oh fuck!
Right? Negan didn't rule Walking Dead for his fucking shooting skills.
Yeah,
He
You just find yourself like in your underwear waving goodbye to their troop, like goodbye, see ya. Like, nothing. And you're like, man, what a bunch of great guys. Fuck! Wow, that guy was a swindler. He was so smooth.
Yeah,
I thought he
that
liked
apocalypse situation. Like everyone's hoarding food and guns. You know what you should get? Therapy. Learn how to make friends. Like that'll help you succeed in the zombie apocalypse.
Dude, you start doing therapy talk at some guy in the apocalypse, he's gonna blast your head off.
I get a lot of aggression from you.
I get hit with like, if I'm post-apocalyptic, I'm already mohawked, tatted out, and some person's like, "How was your relationship with your mom like?" And you're like, "Ah, we're not done covering that. We're wild now." That's
Yeah, see, at that point, they're getting the fire pit ready for you because you're the next meal.
There's no way.
You're not essential at that point.
You're gonna eat me.
So which apocalypse are you imagining? Because I'm imagining like The Road with the Viggo Mortensen movie. And in that scenario, I ain't talking to no fucking body. If I see you coming and I got a ranged weapon, I am going to shoot you. And it's like Tarkov. I'm not even going to loot your body. I'm running the other way. Your friends are all going to hunker down, like try to see me. I don't
know
running
the
so
road.
fast.
Can you do the Postman?
Oh my God! The Postman is such a much. The Postman is Happy Days.
Yeah,
the
Postman is Disneyland.
The guy who runs the post-apocalyptic warlord in that movie is the Fonz compared to the bad guys in The Road. When you meet a traveler, they are often missing their thumbs because what little society there is will cut your thumbs off for stealing. But Viggo Mortensen has 1, maybe 2 bullets, and he's keeping them to kill his son and then himself when the raping cannibals come. And they're always hiding from the raping cannibals, and they're filthy, and they're just beaten down.
I'm
weak.
unrapeable, Kyle.
That's what you think until the cannibals show
it's
up.
because I'm always willing.
You're just like openly weeping under a dilapidated overpass, like I chose this. Yeah, sure you did, bitch. Some guy with a fucking swastika on his forehead is deep dicking you under Highway 70.
It's funny because
Belcher would be like, you take the sport out of it.
They're like, man, I'm losing my erection with this guy. He's just
you're like throwing it back. You're like, whoa. Dude, stop. What are you doing?
Push it back, bro.
More spit.
And that's how Matthew survived the apocalypse, by learning to throw it down harder than anyone had ever thrown it down before.
Did you see that poor Reddit post? The lady's like, I was wearing, these are my comfy panties. I was wearing them when I had a medical emergency and had to be taken to the ER. The doctor saw them. The nurse saw them. My family saw them. They say "cum slut" in white cummy letters.
Ooh,
wow.
Those must be really comfortable.
Yeah, they're like full size like bloomer panties, like the cup like bikini panties. Yeah.
Jesus.
Can you go through that list again? The doctor and who?
The doctor, the nurse, her family. Like they took her in and had like her sisters. They're I doubt like her dad saw it or anything, but everybody else. I think her mom saw it.
What if you had the most comfortable pair of boxers on earth, but it said like "Daddy's little devil"?
Well, it's like the time stone in the MCU, where like you can use it, but people always say don't use it. It's super dangerous, etc. It's just like that.
Don't! It destroys the plot. Ah!
Yeah. I feel like time travel ruins almost every story in which it's employed in, because of all the way that time travel is being dealt with in the Marvel universe, and the way that I guess physicists theorize that it would work is that you're creating a different branch off the tree every time. There is no going back and saving Lincoln. Your Lincoln's dead. Now, you can go back and save a different Lincoln, but now there's another branch coming off the river, and the branches keep branching off. So you can't go back and change what's happened.
Like the Stephen King book is different, unless the thing is about time travel. Time travel is usually more of a problem.
Well, Back to the Future is great.
Yeah.
It's about time travel.
It's about time travel, right? But when you just make it one of the character's superpowers, it's like, oh well, that guy who can bicep curl a lot is kind of worthless.
Yeah,
like he's not doing anything for us now.
A Stephen Hawking who can control time is more powerful than a billion Supermans. Like you just pause time and then wheel yourself over there.
Well,
with
if
your,
we're doing by
with your
Superman
fucking
the
little
movie, then
character.
Superman can control time too. So, by your calculations, nothing is more powerful than Superman because
if he can control
Superman.
time too, he truly is the most boring character in all of Western canon.
Here's what he did. It's the worst. It's in I think Superman 2.
It's the worst.
So like he has to choose between saving Lois Lane and like saving the city, stopping a nuke, something big, right? And he has to make the choice, and he saves the world, the city, whatever the fuck. Lois dies. He's like, no! And the way he turns time back is by going backwards around and around the Earth super fast, and it turns the Earth backwards. Now, first of all, the Earth isn't like the Earth has nothing to do.
It would kill
with
everybody.
time.
It would literally kill everybody.
Oh, the Earth is already moving 1,000 miles per hour, almost exactly. Weirdly enough. So slowing that down would take forever to do it and not kill everyone here because of the momentum involved. It doesn't even. There's no breaking it. You can't break it. We all jolt forward.
What did he do?
The
Like,
air,
grab
the atmosphere is moving 1,000 miles.
He just like grabbed a mountain and pushed.
No, he just flies around the Earth.
Flew through the atmosphere.
It's really terrible. It's a terrible.
It's awful.
It's a
And
horrible.
He
horrible
goes
thing.
back and like saves her, and it's like she's I'm not even that pretty. I can't believe you saved me. It's like, well, I'm not even
They
that
should have
good looking. If
cast
you
a
think
better
about
actor.
it. I don't know. I didn't like that.
Well, I won't
those
watch
movies. No, we don't never watch the original Superman movies. Don't do that.
I
Those
was
are awful.
I was just reading about time travel because people are saying it's theoretically possible.
Mhm.
However, time travel can only occur for when you finally have that, like when time travel exists. So what I mean is, let's say you invent a machine that travels through time. From that moment on, you can time travel, but you can't go before the machine. So let's say you created a machine in 2016.
Yeah,
you could only go back to 2016. You could never go any further back than when you.
That's an interesting. That's like what's that wonderful movie that we all like that we can never remember the plot of it. We have to watch a refresher video every time. They build a time machine. Primer. They build a time machine essentially in Primer that works, I believe, on that basis.
That's true.
But
it's
complicated, so I always forget exactly how it works.
Yeah, that's the theory, is that you can't ever go before that machine exists. I don't know if you've ever watched Dark. Dark on Netflix is, I think, the same general concept.
My favorite way to look at time travel, or not to look at it, but like form of theoretical time travel, I suppose, in sci-fi, and but apparently it would just work, is time dilation caused by gravity or speed. So like the idea, like on Interstellar, when they go down to that planet and time is moving faster, that form of time dilation, not only it's not theoretical, it's proven. Like all of us, when all of us were born, if well, let me just say, from this moment right now, if all of us had a perfect stopwatch and we all hit go, 10 years from now, our stopwatches would all be out of whack slightly, because we had all traveled at different speeds throughout the last 10 years, and thereby time is affecting us, or we're experiencing time at slightly slower or faster rates because of our speed. And Woody would probably be in the lead because he goes so fast so often. He's often flying.
Does that
true.
make a difference?
Yes, that's exactly
it really
what
does.
makes the difference.
Yeah.
So it's
I
why the
honestly thought it was
satellites
really about what the Earth was doing.
No, the Earth is
And your
irrelevant and entirely irrelevant in this situation. It's about your speed. The Earth's
Relative
rotation,
to
if
what?
that's affecting us, is a common thing, right? Because you're not going to be on like Saturn or something. Like
it's all pretty much the same.
We're all going to be right here.
I kind of thought you were going to say whoever was closest to the equator was doing the most traveling, was spinning the fastest, and whatever I do on a motorcycle is irrelevant compared to what Earth is doing as it travels through space and time.
If you look at with the satellites, I know, because those go very fast, right? Around and around the Earth. Some of them do anyway. They're traveling at thousands of kilometers a second or something. I don't fucking know. It depends on the one. They're all moving at different speeds probably. Those have to be synchronized like pretty frequently because their time gets their clocks are moving at a different speed than your clock and on your your wrist or wherever you're wearing it. But yeah,
how fast do you have to go to stop time?
So
you can't stop.
You can't stop time, but you can't slow it, like what Kyle's saying. And they've done studies where, let's say somebody flies in a jet all the time. They're like, they commute 200 days of the year.
Yeah,
they actually are aging slower than we are. So by just like, tenths of a second, or it's like nothing.
So here's what you could do, Taylor. This is how your time machine would work. You jump in your spaceship. That's, I guess, I don't know, between here and the moon, and you take off super fast toward Pluto, whatever. And you fly. You have an onboard clock, and you wait till that does 5 years. You turn around and head back for 5 more years. You've been flying for 10 years, but you've been flying so goddamn fast that 1,000 years could have passed back on Earth. Right. Yeah. So you're 10 years older. That kind of sucks. But you were going as fast as whatever your spaceship can do, which is presumably, I don't know, 7/10 the speed of light, something outrageous.
Yeah.
Back on Earth, a huge amount of time could have passed. You can literally travel forward in time. You can experience fractions of the time that are passing on Earth yourself if you move fast enough, or if you create a singularity, an area of gravity powerful enough.
I would love to do that. That would be a wealth generation trick, right? Like, it is easy to
man
be a
loves his compound
multi-millionaire. Oh yes, Kyle sees exactly where I'm going with that. Right? Getting rich is totally easy, super simple. You put like $1,000 in the S&P 500 and you wait 300 years. What else do you need to know? The hard part is getting wealthy when you're not dead. Right, that's the challenge. Or having any accumulated wealth while it's still fun to use.
Any poor vampire's a fucking loser and should be killed immediately on sight by his fellow vampire.
Exactly.
You see a vampire that's not wearing a rollie or better, he's done. That's
exactly.
Scumbag.
Kyle gets it. But if you were like, hey, what do you put the 4 of you in a little space vessel, come back in 1,000 years, you'll be a billionaire, and I'm like, yeah, sign me up. 1,000 seems risky. Let's do 600. Let's do like 75 years or something.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like you think the S&P 500 is going to give you your return in 1,000 years. Like you're going to show.
I'll do the math, Taylor.
Do 100.
You're going to see the Stone Age. Like
the S&P will probably be gone in 1,000 years, but it'll be around in 100, right? It'll be around in 100.
It's
hard
to know. Immortality.
I really well, hopefully not. Hopefully there won't be. Hopefully there won't be monetary. There won't be any form of monetary. There won't be any money at all. We'll be past
Star
that.
Trekky, yeah.
Like Star Trek?
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back to trading precious stones in a nuclear wasteland.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize it until I was a man grown that Star Trek is about space commies. And another thing I didn't know until like last year is that Dune is about space jihadis. It's I guess in the Dune universe, Islam took over, and it's the prevailing religion of mankind. So when they talk
Star Wars about that,
no, Star Wars is in a different fucking.
Star Wars is fantasy, yeah.
It was like the terrorist thing. I've heard that comparison. Like,
I knew exactly where Taylor was going. A lot of the terrorists see themselves as the Rebel Alliance against the Empire, and when I look at it objectively, I'm like, I mean,
totally.
You can't say really America's the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah. We're the Empire.
Yeah, we are not the Rebel Alliance.
And in real life, we would crush that Rebel Alliance because we wouldn't have with all our billions of dollars in space military budget, we wouldn't have had a hole.
It's an old code, but it checks out. Bullshit. Shoot it.
Yeah, bullshit, shoot it.
That's what an American would have done. An old code, you say? You know the rules. That would have been it.
We don't work at we hold your food till you pick it up place. So yeah, old code's not going to do it here. Just dead.